Welcome to another video of the Helpers, and in today's topic we're going to discuss respiration explained completely. Now this will be divided into two parts because the explanation is quite long and I'm covering the entire chapter, and therefore after you watch this one, please watch the other video as well. Okay, so let's just jump into it. Respiration is a process in living organisms involving the production of energy, typically with the intake of oxygen and the release of carbon dioxide from the oxidation of complex organic substances. So glucose is present in the body and oxygen is intaken from the lungs, and oxygen is used to break glucose to form energy. The byproducts are carbon dioxide and water, right? So this is the basic formula present over here. You'll need to remember this. And now oxygen consumption can be measured using a respirometer. This arrow, which is present over here, shows the involvement of enzymes, which can be demonstrated by the effect of temperature changes on respiration. Energy. The energy release can be measured as a production of heat when heat is produced, and carbon dioxide release. Now, how do you find if carbon dioxide is present or not? If you put carbon dioxide in lime water, it will turn milky. Or a hydrogen carbonate indicator, if you put hydrogen in here, the solution will turn from red and then into yellow-orange. Okay, so now let's discuss these 3 points which I am hoping to cover in this video. Now firstly, certain tests of respiration are taken place in the labs, and they use organisms like woodlice or germinating peas in order to measure how frequent or how fast respiration is taking place. Now there are two types of respiration: anaerobic respiration and aerobic respiration. Now aerobic respiration happens, that's the usual breathing to take place when oxygen is present, right? Oxygen is intaken from the lungs and it is pumped throughout the body by the help of the heart, right? This is just basic how you breathe normally, right? Now sometimes when you're running or you're doing extensive exercises, anaerobic respiration takes place. In this scenario, the body cannot produce enough oxygen and therefore it needs oxygen from other means, and in this case the body can produce energy without the presence of oxygen, right? This happens when we work excessively and our body cannot produce enough energy to satiate our needs. In this case, energy is produced without oxygen through the problem, though the problem is that lactic acid is produced, and this lactic acid is very harmful for the body, right? The harmful lactic acid is carried out of the blood, this is blood, out of the blood to the heart, liver and kidneys, where extra oxygen is needed. And this extra oxygen that is needed in order to get rid of the lactic acid is called the oxygen debt, right? I mentioned oxygen debt, this is very important. Okay, now there are two formulas, one is for aerobic respiration and one is for anaerobic respiration. Okay, let's just do. So glucose plus oxygen, this I mentioned earlier, gives energy plus carbon dioxide plus water. I've discussed this. Its chemical formula is glucose is actually C6H12O6, oxygen is O2, gives energy, plus carbon dioxide is CO2, plus water is H2O. This is all, you also need to remember this. Okay, and now for anaerobic respiration, now there is no oxygen present over here, you have to remember that, so therefore glucose is just broken into energy plus lactic acid. Glucose is C6H12O6 and lactic acid is C3H6 and O3. Okay, now the next topic I'm wishing to cover is exchange of carbon and hydrogen in our bodies, right? Now this is very necessary because we can't live without that. Okay, gas exchange is necessary for life in living organisms. Organisms must be able to take in oxygen from the air and exchange it for unwanted carbon dioxide, right? So there are certain features in the gas exchange which make the change of gas simpler or easier to take place. For example, there are certain properties like the surface is very thin. Gases have a short distance over which to diffuse. That's the help that a thin surface does. Okay, then there's a large surface area. This helps in because many molecules of gas can diffuse across at the same time, right? Because there's more area, more diffusion. Then the next point is they're moist. Now if they're moist, the cells do not die, because if there is no water or the cells are kept in a dry place, the cells will die. Then it's well ventilated. Concentration gradients for oxygen and carbon dioxide are kept up by regular fresh supplies of air, right? This is the use of well ventilation and a close blood supply. The help of this is gases can be carried to and from the cells that need or produce them. Okay, so now gas exchange in humans. Like other mammals, humans are active and maintain a constant temperature. This means that they use a great deal of energy. Mammals must have a very efficient gas exchange system, right? So these are some characteristics of the humans, or rather the mammals, the respiration, that the gas exchange that takes place. A respiration surface. Membranes lining the alveoli in the lungs. So this is a must. A set of tubes to allow air from the outside to reach the respiratory surface. This set of tubes has many branches and is sometimes called the bronchial tree, right? Now, these things are necessary for the use of, or rather for the exchange of gas. Then a regular good blood supply carried by the pulmonary artery and the pulmonary vein. These are the name of the veins that carry the blood to carry dissolved gases to and from the respiratory system. This is also a must for respiration. And a ventilation system, the intercostal muscles and the diaphragm, to keep a good flow of air over the respiratory system. Now the intercostal muscles I'm discussing in my second video, as I do not want to get too boring. And now that's enough for today, and if you haven't liked and subscribed yet, please do, and goodbye.